Frisco, it's Rex Broadcasting Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Let's get it on!
How's it going, everybody? This is Dave Meltzer. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours. Bryan Alvarez and I, we will be talking pro wrestling, taking phone calls, and running down the TNA pay-per-view, which is just starting with a six-man tag with Chris Sabin, Sanjay Dutt, and Shark Boy against the Diamond Exchange, which is Simon Diamond, David Young, and the new member, Elix Skipper. This is actually... I'm probably looking forward to this TNA show more than any show I think they've done in months. I mean, just because of Christopher Daniels and Austin Aries, because this is Austin Aries' big shot, his debut in TNA, and he is not under contract, so obviously he's going to, it's going to be imperative on him to have a good match. And, of course, Samoa Joe's biggest match on a national basis of his career against AJ Styles, which is one of the better opponents he could pick for it. And there's plenty of other matches. I mean, most of the shows, looks good on paper. Main events, Raven and Sabu against Jeff Jarrett and Rhino. But we'll be talking about that, all the different matches as they go along, as well as taking your phone calls. Bryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
First off, I want to mention that it was made official today that it will be a ladder match with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero for Dominic. What's your thoughts on this? It's probably the most talked about angle and the best ratings angle that WWE has done in a long time, but it's also, it's a really weird angle, and I mean, was it custody papers on the top of a ladder? I mean, that's kind of the most far-fetched stuff I think I've ever, not ever heard, but it's up there.
Well, I mean, the funny thing with it is like you said, there's so many parts of this angle that are so absurd, and I mean, I just every week I want to really tear it apart because of the logic holes and everything. But then every week, like 1.5 million people tune in to watch, and I just sit there thinking something must be working.
It's working. I mean, there's no question that as far as delivering quarter hours of television, it's working like no angle they've done. The last time I remember an angle working this big, as far as the TV ratings angle, was when Vince McMahon was feuding with Zach Allen a couple of years ago. Maybe, was that 2 summers ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one even did real well on pay-per-view, much to my surprise, because I did not expect that it would. But this one, I mean, it's not like people are, buying extra tickets to house shows to see Rey Mysterio wrestle Eddie Guerrero, and it's not like the pay-per-views are going up. But there's clearly a lot of people are watching the TV specifically to see this, and it scares me because with SmackDown moving to Friday, and with, the TV ratings are actually falling except for this angle, and this angle's almost over. It really, I tell you what, SmackDown come the fall, and the fall isn't that far away. I mean, we're talking September. We're only weeks away now from the SmackDown moving to Friday. Boy, scary.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the draft, and they needed to do things for the draft to help build up that show, and
they weakened it.
Yeah, they weakened it. And all these angles, it's like, SmackDown is a sort of show where I watch it because I'm supposed to watch it. But really, I mean, comparing it to Raw, it's a world of difference.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead to a break right now. Our phone number is 1-800-878-PLAY. You can join us. This is a good time to get through because this will be the last show with open, as far as open topic conversation on the phones until September the 11th. When we will be doing another show in conjunction with the TNA pay-per-view and doing a show just like this. So if you got any questions, general topic on wrestling, this is definitely the week to be calling in, or any general topic conversations, wrestling, mixed martial arts. We're, a couple of weeks away from Pride, next week's UFC. And Ultimate Fighter starts a week from Monday. We've had, of course, the Ultimate Fight Night. A lot of stuff that's been going on. We'll be back talking about all of this and more. You listen to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of Wrestling Observer News, with Bryan Alvarez of Full Weekly, and we are both covering the TNA pay-per-view, which is going on right as we speak. In fact, it looks like it's a six-man tag, and I think we may be doing the dive sequence that's in every TNA six-man. Actually, we're not. We only saw one dive, which was Shark Boy. They're appearing like they're working towards the finish. I think it's been a pretty decent opener, other than Elix Skipper did the rope block Hurricane Rana spot. And at least he fell in the ring this time. That's what I guess I would say. Almost got there. Lost his balance like one step early, and they kind of tumbled. But aside from that, it looks fast-paced, really good. Saban just pinned Elix Skipper, so that's the finish. So that's the first match in the books. Bryan.
Yep.
Raw on Monday had a couple of interesting things. We had the Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels face-to-face deal, and it was just interesting because I just thought, I know you liked it, but I just think they should never have touched before the pay-per-view.
Well, I agree that was stupid. Part of it is just my own sort of excitement that kind of goes away from the wrestling business and what WWE needs to do to draw money. But that was one of those things like, I remember, I think it was Angle and Shawn had some sort of deal that they did before their match. And I watched and I thought, God, I cannot wait to see these two actually have a match. And, Shawn was just bumping left and right, and I thought, these guys are going to have a hell of a match. And one's, steel plate in his back, 2 bad knees, the other's got a fake hip, and they're going to go out there and tear the house down. And I was excited about that. But, as far as, you made a very good point that the whole sort of idea of the angle is that is Shawn Michaels going to tickle the ivories or whatever, and he's saying he's not going to, and then he just went out there and did. So that kind of...
to me, it's like the whole thing. And also, when you have a dream match, part of the excitement of the dream match is what happens when they finally lock up. And we've actually seen that already.
Yeah.
And what we saw was the same thing that we've been seeing for 21 years. It wasn't like it was...
No, I disagree.
Okay.
It was the same thing, basically, but Shawn brought it up to a new level that made it, at least to me, seem like this is not going to be your average.
But okay, so he bumped better, but it was the same pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, I would have had the thing where Hulk hulked up and Shawn rolled out of the ring, and then you're going like, uh-oh, no one ever rolls out of the ring when you Hulk up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it calls, well, what's going to happen if he does it in the match? And, because the question's already answered. It's like, what's going to happen? Well, the same thing that happens in every Hulk Hogan match is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy against Gene Snitsky, there should be mass...
that was stupid for about 600 different reasons.
Oh, my God. When I saw... when I saw Matt come down, and I thought he was going to do an interview. Yeah. And then I found out he was going to wrestle, and I'm going like, this is stupid. Then I saw it was Snitsky. It wasn't terrible or nothing, but it was just like, why is he wrestling before the pay-per-view?
Oh, yeah.
It served no purpose.
He had his first match on TV. Not only was it for free TV, but it was on free TV with no build.
Yeah.
Then it was with Gene Snitsky, which is, you're just setting the guy up to fail.
Yeah.
Then, of course, he had to use his finisher off the middle rope in his first match back, which I totally thought was absurd. And, it was just one horrible, stupid idea after another. Yeah.
Okay, who's winning the Diva search?
The tall blonde one who doesn't dress up like a punk. I forgot her name already.
Elizabeth, the tall blonde.
Yeah, Elizabeth, that's right.
Elizabeth. Okay.
He will win.
I think that Ashley had it won, but I think the last couple of weeks she's just totally blown it by changing her look every week.
I think Ashley will. Well, I guess they're finishing up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they're doing it. It's a 3-way dance. They're not going to go like eliminating one. They're going to eliminate 2 tomorrow.
That should tell you what they think of this whole thing this year.
Oh yeah.
My
well, no one got over.
What was that?
No one got over.
Yeah. And we were watching on Monday, and my friend Vince goes, these 3 girls actually, they give me an idea of how talented Christy Hemme is, which is a terrifying thought.
Hey, you know what? Christy Hemme was overpushed and all that, but they, like with Maven too, they have looked into some stuff with these searches.
Yeah.
Maven they lucked into, even though it never went anywhere, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And, and obviously part of that's probably Maven's fault because he's had 4 years in the business and he didn't improve a lot. But Christy Hemme they really lucked into because she loves to perform and she's a good performer. She was just pushed too hard, and they had her wrestle before she was ready. But if you consider that they had her wrestle before she was ready, she never embarrassed herself that bad. She didn't embarrass herself as bad as Heidenreich does a lot of most weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she's one of those things where I wanted to sort of dislike her because of the way that she got in and how overpushed she was. But when you really look at her and when you compare her to some of these other girls in this Diva search, she's very good.
Yeah. They had better, to me, I think they had better talkers last year with Christy Hemme and Amy Weber, who was a good talker. This year they've got, They've got pretty girls. I think that Elizabeth's very, very pretty, and Layla's got an exotic look, which might make her the favorite. I don't know. But like, after all these weeks, I just don't even care about them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the defining thing about the Diva Search is, as soon as Carmen got cut, it all went downhill, which means the only thing that it was any good for was the comedy of them being uncoordinated.
Yeah, they only did that one once. How did you like them putting the people on the joust thing? I mean,
when they couldn't even stand on there, they had them try and joust.
Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, we should get away from that and back to more normal wrestling, I suppose. SummerSlam, of course, a week from today. Hogan and Shawn, I think they're going to do well. And if they didn't have that match, I think they were going to do real bad. Because, I mean, you take that match away, and there isn't much. I mean, like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio probably have a great match. Batista and JBL are going to have a good match because they're going to do the blood and the gimmicks and everything. We've already seen that both of them in that environment can have a good match. John Cena and Chris Jericho will probably be okay because Chris Jericho is probably going to put on a great performance. But they're not marquee matches.
Yeah.
Alex Shelley is heading to the ring to face Shocker. Alex Shelley has grown a beard, and he's looks far too much at first glance like a slim blue meanie. So he must change this look, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. The whole thing with SummerSlam is, there's so many acts that aren't on the pay-per-view at this point, which just boggles my mind. Like, I don't even know if they're going to have the Benoit-Orlando match on there. And even if they did, it's Benoit and Orlando.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, you've got two sets of tag champs.
Benoit on the pay-per-view.
Sort of 1.5.
What?
But,
we're not going to have Benoit on the pay-per-view. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we're at SummerSlam.
And Kurt Angle's going to wrestle Eugene, which is a comedy match.
Yeah. Well, they might actually do something. I'm sure there will be a lot of goofy comedy in there, but I think that they're both good enough that they can
I don't think it's
comedy.
Terrible, but it's not going to be the level of most Kurt Angle pay-per-view matches.
No.
And no tag team matches. Carlito's not even on the card. No Intercontinental, is there?
No.
Wow.
It really hit me when they did the thing with Benoit on Thursday, where he just he beat Simon Dean. Then the match was over, and then he stood there, and then they went to commercial, and I thought, these people have no idea what to do with Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit is lost in the shuffle in WWE, and I thought that...
And he just switched brands.
Yeah.
When he should have all these fresh matches. I think that's right. So they beat him with Jordan, and if they don't put that match, it was like he's not even going to get to beat Jordan to win the title. Is that what it says? Or maybe,
so
you know what, they made you like the four-way with... Because that'll get Christian on the show, too, where they do Christian, Booker, Jordan, and Benoit.
Yeah, I guess they could do that.
I could see that one, announcing that, just to get him on the show. But that's enough, that's
Again,
to lose the talent of Benoit to put him in a four-way.
Yeah.
Oh, at least, hopefully, they'll get the title off of Jordan because, boy, what a waste. Well, anyway, we've got to go head to a break right now. Alex Shelley and Shocker are doing mat work right this moment, and we will start taking phone calls right after this break. We've got a full bank of calls, so as soon as someone hangs up, you can jump on board. You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Hey, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of Wrestling Observer Newsletter with Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. You can always go to www.wrestlingobserver.com. We have all the TV reports from all the different television shows up on the site, as well as daily news updates and information. I have subscribed to the Wrestling Observer Newsletter that I put out every week, and Figure 4 Weekly that Bryan puts out every week. And big issue of the Observer last week. We got all the details as far as Bret Hart's visit to WWE, including who buried him, who didn't bury him, who wouldn't bury him, what the DVD was going to be, what it's now going to be, what his future is with the company. So it's all of that stuff. And next week's issue is the Hall of Fame issue, which is one of the biggest issues of the year. So anyway, we will be a couple of big issues. Actually, this next issue is just going to be huge. We got G1. By the way, Bryan, of course, did you hear that Shona won the G1?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I heard that the Kawada match with Fujita was incredible, which was earlier today, which was one of the semifinals. It was Chono over Shinsuke Nakamura,
match?
and then Fujita beat Kawada, and then in the finals, Chono beat Fujita.
Wasn't the Kawada match 6 minutes?
Yeah, it was incredible.
That must have been a hell of a 6 minutes.
Yeah, they killed each other.
That's good to know then, at least.
What?
That's good to know then, at least.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to come off as great on television as it was live, but I heard live it was like, it was scary, like brutal. Like in the upper deck, one person who was in the upper deck of the thing just said, like, you know, in the upper deck, it was just like you were right there. They were just killing each other.
Wow.
Said more brutal than almost any Pride match in history.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun then.
Yeah. But yeah, it was only 6 minutes. It was very interesting, just making Fujita into a monster, and then Chono was the one who beat him. But it was super over actually in the building though.
Well, I think isn't it sort of like the Hashimoto thing?
The Hashimoto thing, the Chono nostalgia. There's a lot of things that were going for it. You know, the people definitely did want Chono to win this one. Whether, you know, in a sense, it's like, you know what it's like though. It would be like if, say, WWE did, you know, a G1 tournament and put Hulk Hogan over. I mean, the people would go crazy for it, but would that necessarily be the right thing for long-term business?
Yeah.
That's what they did. Did you by any chance watch the Thursday edition of Unleashed?
I did not.
Or even know there was one?
Was this the one where they replaced the...
No, that was the Ultimate Fight Night, which actually aired about an hour later after that.
No, I didn't see it.
They did Unleashed at 9, then they had Ultimate KOs at 10, and then from 11 until 2, they replayed the Ultimate Fight Night, except they replaced the main event with Kenny Florian, Alex Karolexis match. No, it was weird because, you know how UFC is just, the shows are so dry. To me, I mean, like, the Monday show was great because they showed great fights, but it's just dry because all they do is show fights on Unleashed.
Yeah.
This show was nothing but hype for the pay-per-view. Like 1 hour, and it was a little long, but it was, like, incredible.
Yeah.
And if you watch it, like, anyone who watched it would want to watch that pay-per-view between Liddell and Jeremy Horn. They made Jeremy Horn out to be the favorite in the match, quite frankly, if you watch that show. Which is pretty hard to do, considering all those tapes that they have of Chuck knocking people out.
You know what's weird is I have not watched one episode of Unleashed.
Really? Oh, you should have watched last Monday. But the fights you've already seen.
Yeah, I think that's the point. It's like in the show, I've seen the fights. I've got a million other things to watch, and it just doesn't seem like a priority.
Well, Ultimate Fighter starts Monday. A week from Monday, that is.
That I will watch.
Yeah. Just for Joe Stevenson and Jorge Jurgel, as far as the welterweights look like the favorites. Shelley just got the pin with his feet on the rope.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
No.
The match looked like it was mainly on the mat. I don't know how good it was, but Shelley won. In my country, it's 2 out of 3, and you lost, buddy. No. So they're going to keep this. They're doing a program with those two, so it's not over yet. I think.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I think I may have had a revelation, but I'm not sure yet. So.
Well, tell me what it is.
Huh?
Tell me what it is. By the way, you know Bob Carter's at the show?
Is he really?
Yeah, Bob Carter and his wife were shown on camera during the pregame show. And
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What?
Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, I think it's a good thing because the guys are going to work like crazy. And it's a good thing also because when you're there, you know, the crowd's going to be really excited. You're going to have a good show, and it's going to make you think that, like, you know, hey, maybe I'm investing in something that has a chance.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. But they can't have a bad, you know, if they have a bad show, then it's a bad thing. But this lineup, I can't imagine them having a bad show. And they did announce on the air, you know, Spike TV starting October the 1st. That's already been announced.
Okay, well, there you go.
So, what's your revelation?
I'm not sure yet. It's going to be a few minutes. I have to confirm it first.
Okay, all right.
I'm thinking I may have actually heard of one of these guys that's going to be on the Ultimate Fighter, and I have a story about him if it's the same guy. So
tell me the name, and I can tell you.
I want to make sure
I know where everyone's from.
Huh?
I know where pretty much everyone's from.
Okay, I'll have to find him. Give me a few minutes.
Okay, well, we're going to go to Ed in San Antonio first. Ed, what's going on?
Before I get to my questions, I can tell you why the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio angle is doing so well. You know, SmackDown has a high Hispanic, people are watching it.
Oh yeah, of course. And in fact,
the angle straight out of a novella, a Mexican novella, and you know.
Oh really?
That's one of the reasons. Yeah, I mean, if you think the American soap operas are pretty far-fetched, the novellas are even worse, and this is something.
The novellas have ladder matches for custody.
Well, no, they don't have ladder matches.
Okay.
As far as like the custody battle and the acting, I mean, just the way they're portraying it. I mean, it's straight out of that, and I think that's one of the reasons that they're the ratings.
I love the acting. I just think Rey Mysterio is doing the greatest work outside of the ring of his life. And his wife was great. Eddie Guerrero's wife was great. How come these people who are like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio's wives, who are amateurs, and Dominic, who's 8 years old, are so much better than like these people who it's their jobs to do this?
That was the exact same thing I thought on Thursday. I thought you've got 5 people in the ring, and exactly one of them is a professional actor, and that one person is the worst actor in this ring.
Who, Ray?
No, the woman. The woman there is the
the woman with the child custody woman. Yeah. Yeah, but, well, I think that she thought it was probably beneath her dignity to be there, maybe.
No, great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, to get to my real question, it's about the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And a lot of people perceive Hall of Fames as, if they get in, it's great. If they don't get in, it's an insult. It's just kind of like a slap in the face. And
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, I agree with Larry Matisic. I believe only the elite should be in there, and I believe that the nomination should be considered more than what some people perceive it to be. And I'd like to make a case for a wrestler. I don't know if he's ever been. He might have, but I don't think he has. But a gentleman, Chris Adams, I don't believe he's Hall of Fame, but I believe he'd be worthy enough to get a nomination.
I wouldn't say that. I don't think he was a big enough star at all. I mean, he was very good for a couple of years there in Dallas, but I mean, he finished his career kind of as a job guy in WCW, and I don't think he was ever, aside from about a 1 or 2 year period, I don't think he was ever really that big of a star. Maybe, when him and Gino against Kevin and Kerry Von Erich, yeah, he was real good then. Maybe top 10 in the world even, but it was just so short-lived. I just think that there's just a lot of people who would, if you go to the Chris Adams level, you're going to have, seriously, 200 names on the ballot, instead of the number that we have.
Well, I think two things. What I would say for him is I would say 3 to 4 years where he was a top worker. He drew money in Dallas not only with the Von Erichs but with Steve Austin. I'm pretty sure he would have drawn money in Mexico with Aguayo. I don't know how he did in California against.
California was dead when he was there, so it really wasn't that fair. And even he did do well with Austin, but I mean. You're talking about maybe 2,000 people. I mean, that's like, doing well in ECW, which is not, it wasn't like, him and Gino, they did 26,000 people at the stadium once with Kevin and Kerry in the hair match. But, yeah, and I mean, he had a couple of years where he was a big money guy, but, he was no bigger than any big territory, he was no bigger of a star than any guy who had a couple of year run as a big territory main eventer. I mean, you can go with if you look at the Carolinas, I mean, there were so many people, like Paul Jones and, people like, at that level, Mulligan, who were, pretty much bigger stars than him, and they're not really Hall of Fame guys. I mean, I guess you could argue that they deserve a nomination, but they're not really Hall of Fame guys. And I just don't even see Chris Adams as anyone even close. I really don't.
Okay. Well, I did also want to throw in Innovator in the first person to use the super kick to pretty much get Shawn Michaels. What would Shawn Michaels do without a super kick? And also, he was the person who discovered Steve Austin's biggest star in the past years.
Yeah, well, Steve Austin showed up at his school and all that, but Steve Austin will never give Chris Adams much credit for anything. So even though maybe he deserves it, as far as Chris was his original trainer, but I don't know. I mean, you don't hear Steve Austin saying nice things about Chris Adams either.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to bring the name on and see what you thought about it. But speaking of the Chris Adams, Steve Austin, what exactly is? Do you know why there would be heat between them? You think? Because I always thought Steve would be, grateful for Chris for training them, having his first big program real early.
A lot of people didn't like Chris Adams in wrestling. He was very unliked. And take this for what it means when this is wrestling that we're talking about, but he was considered exceedingly sleazy as a person. People didn't trust him at all. So, I remember when Chris was in WCW, he was really disliked at that point. The people didn't want him around or anything. I mean, they just didn't trust him, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Well, thanks for taking my call, guys.
Okay, you're very welcome. Okay, we're going to go ahead to a break right now. Lance Hoyt's in the ring with the Monster Abyss, and Lance Hoyt just did a Pescado out of the ring on him, and this is Lance Hoyt's biggest singles match so far in his career, so hopefully he'll come through, and a lot of people are going to be judging him based on this. But anyway, we will be back with more. You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer News. With Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. Bryan, did you figure out who the guy was?
Yeah, I was totally wrong. Never mind.
Oh, you were wrong. Okay. We're going to go to Marcus in South Dakota. Marcus, what's going on? Hello.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm enjoying your show. Pretty good. First time listening to it.
Oh, thanks very much.
I have two questions, actually, and they both refer to Hogan.
Okay.
Do you think that the Hogan-Michaels match will or should go on last over either one of the titles? I mean, do you think it will, or do you think if it doesn't?
Yes, no question in my mind on that. Brian, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Will they'd really like to end with the titles? I mean, it's kind of like their tradition to make the titles appear to be the most important thing. If that's the case, they would have to end probably with the Batista one, only because that one's the one that's probably going to have the blood and the all the gimmicks, and it's harder to follow that than to follow a technical match. But
do you think that's a smart idea, though, to put those two on last?
No, I don't. Because the crowd's there to see Hogan and Michaels, and it's going to be tough for anyone to follow them. Because remember at WrestleMania a couple of years ago with when everyone came to see Hogan and Rock, and they put Jericho and Triple H on last, and Toronto, which is one of the great wrestling cities in the world, and Chris Jericho, a Canadian, in the main event, and the people just weren't with it.
Because they lost.
And Bryan, you were at the WrestleMania in Seattle. You had pretty much a similar situation, right?
As far as trying to follow the Hogan match?
Well, I mean, the people, all the advertising was Hogan and Vince, and, here Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle had that great main event, but the fact is that the WrestleMania fans, when you have 50,000 people, it's not WrestleMania fans, because at the Garden a couple of years ago, when they had the Garden WrestleMania 20, when you had, 18,000 fans. By the way, Abyss is winning with a black... No, oh my God, he kicked out the Black Hole Slam, Bryan.
Really?
Yeah, and Abyss is going nuts. But when you have 18,000 people for a WrestleMania, you've got a pretty hardcore fan base, I think. But when you have 50,000 people, you don't. You're going to have a lot of casual people that bought tickets. And to those people, like the real big names are bigger than the great match. And, they had Lesnar and Angle on last, and a lot of people left early. So
I seem to recall, that at the WrestleMania I was at, after that Hogan match, people were leaving.
Yeah.
But I think that if Hunter were the champion, I think that there would be about a 40% chance of Hogan going on last. But I think with Hunter gone, I would say there's a 90% chance.
Yeah. If I'm guessing, I'd say Hogan goes on last too, but I'm not positive of that. But if I was picking and it was my choice, absolutely.
Okay, that sounds about right. But to add on to that, WrestleMania 19, I think everybody enjoys Jericho and Michaels more than anything. But anyway.
Lesnar and Angle was awfully good. Those were the two, on that one, right?
Very good.
Yeah, I think the people were more into Shawn match live, it seemed.
Yeah.
Particularly all the women.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, my second question is, what do you think about a match between Hogan and Austin at WrestleMania 22? Do you think it will happen?
Yeah, I think it'll happen. 1, 2. Oh my God, what's his name? Lance Hoyt did the Van Terminator, and Abyss just kicked out, and the place is going. I wouldn't say the place, but the first 2 rows of fans are going out of their mind.
The Hoyt fan club.
Yeah, the Lance Hoyt fan club. Like, it's only the first 2 rows, and they're just, like, going out of their mind. It's hilarious. But, yeah, I expect Hogan Austin at WrestleMania. I think that's the plan right now.
Do you think at this match between Hogan and Michaels, the ending will reflect that? I mean, do you think Hogan
winning? I mean, I think so, yeah. I'm expecting Hogan to win and then go with Austin. Because to me, I don't think people really want to see Hogan lose. And Shawn Michaels, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses because the whole thing is that, he's going to probably have the match, and that's, the next day, if Shawn Michaels loses and has a great match, it's more important to have a great match with Hulk Hogan than to beat Hulk Hogan in a bad match. Abyss just won with a Black Hole Slam, by the way. It was the second time I think he didn't kick out of the second one. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a Hogan win anyway.
Okay, yeah. Should be an interesting whole card. I mean, there's Eugene or Angle. I'm kind of excited for that. Those two, they've been getting good reviews at house shows.
Really, I'm not. I think it'll be okay, but I can't say I'm. When the day of the show comes, I'm not. It's not a match that I'm going to get excited to see. Hopefully, they'll have a good match. I mean, they can have a great match. I just don't know that they will be supposed to. Abyss may have hurt his forearm. He's holding it, maybe on that drop kick with the chair. So anyway, it looks like we got B.G. James in a ref shirt coming up, so that means that match must be coming up. Anything else, Marcus?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks for calling. Call again. Okay, we're going to go to Waldorf, Maryland, and Jay. Jay, what's going on?
Dave, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Hey, Dave, Punk lost the title?
Punk lost the title on Friday night in Dayton in a four-way. It was a CM Punk, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, and James Gibson. And James Gibson, believe it or not, won the championship. So it's another short-term champion because he's headed to WWF as well, or WWE as well.
Oh, man, that just makes... I thought it would be the Colt in Chicago.
No, they did that match last night, but he lost it already. But apparently the Chicago show was great. And the Dayton match, I think it went like 51 minutes, so it's probably out of this world with those four guys going that long.
Oh, man, do you have any idea when he might show? I mean, I know it's not going to be SummerSlam, but do you think maybe September?
As far as what? When Punk starts?
Yeah.
I think Punk's supposed to go to OVW starting Monday.
Oh, man, I don't like that at all. It doesn't sound good to me, man.
Well, actually, you know what? You should. It's a lot better to go to OVW than go to Heat. OVW, you get...
True.
He'll be much happier, and he'll be working under Paulie, and working under Paulie is infinitely better than working under anyone else that they've got. If you're going to be buried, because he's not going to come in and get a push. I mean, politically, it's just not going to happen. So it's better to go to OVW where he can go in and get a push if he does well.
Yeah, man. And one more thing about TNA. Do you think, I mean, I know they're going to take what they can get, but Saturday nights, that doesn't sound too good. I just don't know how they plan on surviving on that.
It's not their choice. I mean, that was what they got. It is the worst night possible, but they are coming after UFC, so it's not the worst lead-in possible. I mean, there have been, historically... there have been promotions that have run Saturday night at midnight that have done very well, but it's harder now because people really don't watch TV on Saturday night that much. So it's the worst night possible. It's tough. It's definitely not. I would rather that they were on Monday night, and I'm sure they would too. And I know that they want. Their goal is to get on Monday night. To make this Saturday night work and then parlay it to Monday. But obviously that's probably going to be a good year away if it ever happens.
Yeah, man, and with the Super X finals tonight, who do you expect, just out of your opinion, to come out of that? I'd say Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I would too.
And is that supposed to take place at, what's the name of the September pay-per-view?
September 11th would be the winner of tonight's match against Daniels for the title, yes. It's Daniels, or it's Daniels against Styles or Samoa Joe on that show.
Okay, man, and October, Bound for Glory. Do you know if they're going to have that be an extra hour, $10 extra?
Mike Tenay was on the show, and he said that's, I mean, it's not confirmed, but that is what they're talking about, to do an expanded, longer than 3-hour pay-per-view, yeah.
Well, that is a great time for TNA to come on, since they'll probably be a few weeks away from Bound for Glory when they come on Spike, so...
They go on October 1st, so they'll have... and the pay-per-view is October 23rd, so they'll have the 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd. They'll have 4 TV shows to build Bound for Glory.
Okay, man. Well, Dave, I appreciate your time, man.
Okay, very welcome.
Speaking of Ohio Valley,
What?
I think that you liked that Thrill Seekers M&M match a whole lot more than I did.
You didn't like that match?
Well, it's not so much I didn't like it, but I thought that it was going along really well, and then it started to drag, and by about the 25-minute mark, when there were, like, the second ref bump, and I was just like, this is total overkill.
I know what you're saying. I know there was that point there. But the cat fight actually, which, I usually am not a big fan of those. For some reason, that one worked.
Oh, yes. I agree with that. It didn't save the match for me, though.
Yeah. Trying to think. Now, have you seen the show where Johnny Jeter turns on Matt Capitelli?
Not yet.
Okay, that's a very good show.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, it's good. We will go to Ryan in Syracuse.
Hi, Dave. How's it going?
Going good. What's going on?
Not too much. I got a lot of quick questions, so I'm going to be as quick as I can.
Okay.
First, Dusty Rhodes. Do you know if he's going to come back as a character in the yellow and
polka dots? I'm sure he won't.
What?
Polka dots? No.
No, he won't.
Nah, they're not going to put him in the polka dots. No way.
And he won't get a push or anything like that.
He'll be a nostalgia thing like Jake or Sergeant Slaughter or someone. Who will pop up every now and then. I don't see him being like a push character that you see wrestle. No, he's not going to wrestle on television or maybe one gimmick match. That's about it.
And with Bret Hart coming back, do you know if Harry Smith will probably get a contract soon with WWE?
But one has nothing to do with the other. Bret Hart's not coming back, and number two, Harry Smith. Harry Smith can get in with one phone call anytime he wants. Harry Smith doesn't choose to go in there because Harry Smith, who's pretty much a protege of Chris Benoit, wants to follow in the footsteps of Chris Benoit and wrestle a couple of years in Japan and all over the world and garner international experience, and then come in when he can come in as a star as opposed to come in at the bottom. That's his mentality of what he wants to do with his career. But, he could go to OVW tomorrow if he wants to because, he's had, they've been willing to take him since he was 16, 21 years old, really.
He wants to pay his dues first and all that sort of stuff?
He wants to gain international experience. He was in, I think he's going to England real soon. He just wants to wrestle all over the world like Chris Benoit did and learn different styles, and rather than just start out and only, you know what I mean, and not have that different kind of experience. He's just looking for experience. Right? I think for him, again, he wants to be like his father, Chris Benoit, like Chris Benoit was as well. I think for him, it's definitely the best move. And also, for a lot of guys, I think it's the best move because the guys who come to WWE too quickly, they're a lot of times they're not ready, and then it reflects badly on them. You better be ready when you get on TV there because it's a cruel and hard audience for you if they don't like you.
Also, with the ECW DVD out, do you think it will do great sales?
What?
Do you think the ECW DVD will do great sales now that it's been out for so long? Do you think
One Night Stand is done tremendous? It's very successful DVD.
And Joey Styles is one of the greatest commentators of all time. They need to bring him back somehow.
He did a great job on that show. That was unbelievably great job he did on that show. I think it's the best thing he's ever done. But yeah, boy, on that night he was awesome.
All right,
we gotta get running, okay?
Yep.
Okay. We're back right after this. You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer News. Bryan, Alvarez of Weekly. I wanted to mention before we have to go to our hourly breaks, by the way, the matches in the ring. It's Conan and Ron Killings are brawling with Kip James, who's formerly Billy Gunn, and Monty Brown. And Chris Tolis passed away on Friday. Chris Tolis at the age of 75. Chris Tolis, the older brother of John Tolis. They were one of the in the 60s. One of the top tag teams, went all over the world. I didn't see a lot of Chris Tolis matches in my life because that was really before my time. But I saw a few, and he worked. By the time the 70s rolled around, he was wrestling mostly in Ontario. Moved back to Hamilton to care for his mother and his sister, and just kind of wrestled in that area as opposed to touring and staying in California, where John did to make himself a real big name. But Tolis brothers were one of the great tag teams of their era, no question about it, and very well conditioned guy in an era that a lot of the guys in that when I started watching wrestling, they had the big bellies, and the Tolis brothers did not have the big bellies because they did their road work. They ran miles and miles every day, and they relatively good as compared to most wrestlers. So, different era, you know. The guys from then, well, if they were around now, they wouldn't look like they did then either, would they?
Probably not.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, we got to go head to our hourly break right now. We will be back with the second hour. We'll start taking phone calls again. You can hop on board at 1-800-878-PLAY. Real quick, so far on the show, of course, Sanjay Dutt, Saban, and Shark Boy over Elix Skipper, and Simon Diamond and David Young. Alex Shelley beat Shocker, Abyss beat Lance Hoyt, and now we're in the B.G. James match, with B.G. James refereeing the Free Life Crew against former Outlaw and Monty Brown. So anyway, we'll be back with more right after this. You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of the Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, Hour 2 here with Bryan Alvarez. And real quick, we're going to go through the TNA pay-per-view. And the opener was Shark Boy Sanjay Dutt and Chris Sabin beating Simon Diamond, David Young, and Elix Skipper. Then Alex Shelley over Shocker. It was Abyss over Lance Hoyt. The match that just ended, Conan and Ron Killings beat Kip James, and Monty Brown went in the finish. B.G. James threw a whole bunch of punches to Kip James, and Conan hit him with a chair and covered him, and 1, 2, 3, and Free Life Crew is back together again.
That means they're breaking up at the next taping.
Not too early. Nothing till October. You can't shoot any of those big angles till October. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And in the ring right now is Christopher Daniels when we're waiting for Austin Aries, so that should be fun.
Wait a second, only 3 matches left on the show?
No. Let me think. Let me look at my schedule in front of me. Where did I write the schedule for the show? Sean Waltman, Jerry Lynn, Team Canada, AMW, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and in the main event, the tag match. So 4 matches left.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of those matches, I hope they give Samoa Joe and AJ Styles a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I think they probably will.
Yeah.
So that should be good. Bryan, as far as, I guess this is Chuck Liddell or Jeremy Horn?
Chuck Liddell.
Really?
Yeah.
I agree with you. Randy Couture and Mike Van Arsdale.
When you said really, I was for a second I thought, oh my God, Dave is going to argue this. I want to hear this.
Oh, what? That Jeremy Horn's going to win? He might win. Seriously, but I don't. If I'm going to predict, I'm going to predict Chuck Liddell is going to. Oh my God.
And by the way, I'm going for Van Arsdale.
Austin Aries is like so blown up. He thinks he's trying out for the WWE, not TNA. But anyway.
Okay,
he just grabbed the belt, and he's making himself somebody, and Daniels looks like he's put on some weight since the last time I saw him, and the last time I saw him would have been the last TNA tape, which was only a couple of weeks ago. So, looks like James Gibson.
Wow.
Yeah. So you were saying something about...
Van Arsdale.
You're going to go with Van Arsdale?
Oh, yes, I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been going back and forth on this one. Van Arsdale's training here. Have I told you that he's training out here?
No.
Yeah, he's training in San Jose, and I know people who are training with him and around him, and he's training very hard.
Yeah.
He's a better wrestler than Randy Couture. He's phenomenal condition. Of course, Randy Couture will be in phenomenal condition.
How old is Arceo? Is he 40?
He's 40. Okay. Yeah, he's not young either. But he's 40 and looks 30. Randy's 42 and body-wise doesn't look 42, but face-wise does.
Yeah.
Couture's got more experience. I mean, that's the one thing that he definitely has. More big match experience, more ring-wise in this sport. I don't know. Oh, God, that's a real tough one to call. I have plenty of reasons to pick Van Arsdale, but I'm slightly going for Couture. Okay?
This will be fun, then.
It'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting show.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess we'll start with... we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we'll come back. We'll start with John in Long Island right after this. You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter, with Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. We're here every Sunday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 7 Pacific Time. We're covering the TNA pay-per-view, which has Christopher Daniels and Austin Aries in the ring right now, having a match, and we're going to go to John in Long Island. John, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good.
He is kind of inspired by Vince McMahon's speech about how long Raw's been on.
Oh, okay.
It has more to do with ratings, but it made me think of TV shows.
Okay.
Now, I was actually reading a book on the TV show Dallas, and I was noticing the ratings that show was doing when it was in its prime.
Yeah, which were very high.
Yeah, I couldn't even believe it when I saw it, because I remember the show, but I wasn't old enough to watch it then.
Oh, I was actually one of my favorite television shows during its peak. It was one year when I was living in Texas. I covered Friday. Dallas was on Friday nights at the time, and I covered Friday night football. And I would get home from work at 3:30 a.m. And instead of going to bed, I would watch Dallas, which is insane. And then I'd go to work the next day. I mean, that's how much I like that show.
Actually, to be honest, I was just a little kid then, and I watched it with my parents, but I didn't understand it. Now I understand it. Now it's like my favorite show of all time.
Yeah, it was. Because you're a wrestling fan, J.R. Ewing was just like the classic, awesome wrestling heel. I mean, JBL's just a copy of him.
I know. I keep thinking to myself how funny.
But nowhere near the charm.
No, I know, easily not. I keep thinking how funny it would be if JR actually was the actual character JR was a general manager for a wrestling show. To me, that was...
Oh, yeah, my God. Because what a great actor Larry Hagman was, in that...
Yeah, actually, I am meeting him at the Killer Show in October, and I can't even wait.
Yeah.
But, actually, the whole point was when I saw those ratings, because I'm so used to now when I think ratings of hearing 4.0 everything.
Yeah.
So when I read those ratings, I was in shock. Mm-hmm. I understand the difference between cable and regular,
Well, CBS, and also you got to remember in the 80s, I mean, there was a lot... Cable was around, but it wasn't nearly as prevalent. So, I mean, you could do a 20 rating. Now, except for, I don't know, what does 20? I mean, the end of the NFL season will do 20 ratings, and some, CSI sometimes hits that, I think, but almost nothing does.
The actual question was whether or not, how do you think Raw would do if it was on maybe Channel 2 or 4, or maybe ABC or something, as opposed to
a primetime show like. It would do better than it does now, but I don't think it would be. I don't think it would do that well. Look at but SmackDown's on UPN, which is a lower rated network. It would do. I don't know. It's doing a 4. Maybe it would do maybe it could do a 5. I don't know. I don't think it would do a 6.
I don't see it doing less, obviously, but
it would. If it was on, it wouldn't do less. No way. Yeah, I think maybe a 6. On one of the big 4 networks, maybe not even on Fox, because I don't know the Fox, maybe a 5, Yeah.
Do you think it would last long also? Or
No, I think it would, certainly not the current product, no, because the network would get too much heat for doing it, and Vince would do something stupid, and wouldn't last. It would probably last one season.
Yeah, because I just kind of figured his speech there was kind of weak about why that's been on for so long, but something like Gunsmoke or an old TV show, the whole old TV.
It's not really fair because TV series are totally different. They're built to go 5 years if they're great, 10 years if they're unbelievably great. Sports, which wrestling still, it isn't a sport, but it's a soap opera and a sport, and they're built to go longer. If wrestling is a soap opera, it's nowhere near, the most episodes of a soap opera, because these daytime soap operas run 5 new episodes a week, and they can run for 20 years. They've run, a lot of the daytime soaps have been around longer than Raw. I mean, that whole speech he made to me is it was just totally bogus on so many levels. I mean, there's other TV shows like Meet the Press that have been, or 60 Minutes that have been on forever. There's wrestling shows, which is the exact same genre as his show that were on the air for a lot longer than 13 years. So, I mean, it's the longest nothing. It's just something that they made up, and they know better themselves, but, once they got committed, they had to say it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just one more thing, though, before I go, since I found out that you actually, like that was... I was talking to my friend about the show the other day, and I told him, with the way Raw's going right now, that I'm totally convinced one of the writers has one time suggested that on the last Raw...
Oh, who shot Vince McMahon?
Who shot JBL?
No, even better.
Why waste on JBL?
I could picture the last Raw of, say, the year, and Vince McMahon waking up in the locker room saying, wow, that was some dream I had, and then restarting the whole year again. I am totally...
I don't think so, but if Russo was still writing, I think that he would suggest it, and he would have suggested it probably 15 times by now, because they kind of almost did that in WCW that one time.
Yeah. I'm just convinced somebody has suggested it somewhere. But somebody
that was not one of the finer moments in the history of Dallas, was when they pretended that whole season was a dream. Oh, I thought that actually marked when I lost interest in the show. I mean, I still watch it, but my big interest in the show, after they did that one where I spent a year and they came back and said none of it counted, and that's why when WCW started doing those things where, they would, just say, when Russo and Bischoff came back and they said, we're blowing it all up and nothing counts, I said, you're going to really piss off the loyal fans, because I know how I felt when they told me that I've just watched a year of television that doesn't count. And wrestling, which is considered, even though it's not real, it was considered, people who watch it with the idea that it's semi-sport, and then you're just throwing everything out, and, none of this you saw, it was all fiction and it never happened, and it was a dream. I don't think that applies well to wrestling fans. And I think that a lot of wrestling fans, they were turned off by everything. That 1999 to the end, WCW was the worst stuff, except for maybe Los Angeles wrestling and Knoxville at one point in history, because they never did an Invisible Man. So I can't say they were the worst.
Those promotions never lost $60 million.
That's because they were so nickel and dime to begin with, but they were stretching too. But no, I mean, as far as on a big scale incompetence, nothing WWE has done. I mean, I was reading some stuff from that era, and of course Bryan wrote a book about it. And I mean, as bad as some of the WWE stuff is, I mean, when you look back at 1999 and 2000 of WCW, oh my God, the WWE shows now are pure genius in comparison.
It's interesting because I never was a WCW fan, so I read the book, I never saw any of that stuff, and I'm reading it and I'm thinking, I can't believe this really happened.
You know what, and it was actually worse watching it than reading it in the book. The book, when you read it in the book, it's almost like it's funny, but I mean, I remember, we watched that stuff every week, and I was a fan of both companies, and I wanted to see them, I mean, I didn't want to see them go out of business because I knew it would be horrible for the industry, and to watch them go out of business out of pure stupidity and watch, I mean, there's so much fault to go around, but how it ever happened, I mean, it still boggles my mind that people that stupid ever, rose into position of power, and that there were enough people in that company who are not stupid. I mean, there were many, and somehow they weren't able to stop it. It's unbelievable. We're going to have on this show in a couple of weeks, we're going to have J.J. Dillon, who was there and actually wrote about it, and we'll probably discuss that very topic of the last couple of years of WCW and how it ever could have been so absolutely horrible. Although we really know, but it'll be an insider at least telling about it.
Yeah, because I had a friend who was a big WCW fan, and he confirmed that all that stuff took place.
Oh, Bryan didn't have to make anything up, and nothing's exaggerated either, which is the scary thing. You read it, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I told him, did you see all this stuff? And he said, yeah. I'm wow, because I can't. It sounds like something to say is a joke.
We lived it.
We lived every day was comedy. I mean, it was so. I mean, I guess if you look back at the newsletters from that period, the one thing that I've noticed is they were much funnier. But cause I remember I would sit there and watch like Thunder, and to an extent Nitro, and I would sit there and I would write jokes on my piece of paper because it's the only way to watch the shows without like getting sick is just okay, let's laugh at it and tell jokes. Now when I watch Raw is rarely that bad, although some of the Diva Search segments, and some of the SmackDown segments are bordering on it at times, but nothing, it's nothing compared to the booking illogic that WCW had in the absolute just, paying guys millions of dollars and then making sure they didn't get over. At least in WWE, the guys who they make sure don't get over are guys that are, like Rob Conway and stuff that they don't have a lot of money invested in.
Yeah. Well, he's got a great song.
Yeah, he does, I know.
All right, thanks for answering my question.
Okay, very welcome. We'll be back with more right after this. Sean Waltman and Jerry Lynn are about to go in the ring. Christopher Daniels beat Austin Aries already, so we've got 3 matches left. This is Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Hey, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter. Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. You can go to www.wrestlingobserver.com. Daily news updates, TV reports, and information that I subscribe to the Observer that I put out every week. Figure 4 Weekly that Bryan puts out every week. Believe me, you will enjoy reading them. Figure 4, lots of comedy, lots of interesting reviews of things, and Observer just tons of news, especially the last, month or so. Just tons. We'll have the Hall of Fame issue coming out. If you're a subscriber, you should be getting it Saturday or Monday, this week's issue, all the behind the scenes on the Bret Hart situation. Of course, we talked with him for a few minutes on the show, but we got a lot more in the Observer. I want to also mention there's actually 4 matches left on this pay-per-view, not 3. Sean Waltman and Jerry Lynn are in the ring right now, just starting out. We're going to go to Andrew in New York. Andrew, what's going on?
How are you, Dave?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. It's the 3rd week in a row I've called. I just had to say I love the show, and I think you do a tremendous job.
Thank you.
I just want to touch on a couple things. One is the Brock Lesnar and the WWE thing. I think they should just give up. They give up the Dudley Boys and everybody else for that WrestleMania cuts that they do every year. And I just think that Brock Lesnar, he's a name and he brings money and he's got the face value, but honestly, I say screw him if he's going to do this to the WWE all the time.
Well, you don't know the whole situation, although I do think that Brock has not played the game very smart in many, many ways. The way he left, not so much the way he left, but what he did after he left.
Oh, I was at WrestleMania 20, and the crowd knew, and the crowd knew about Goldberg too. But the way he plays this game with the WWE, he's not Hulk Hogan, he's not Bret Hart, he's not Steve Austin, nor is he The Rock.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not so sure he's playing game as much as I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he knows what he wants to do. I think that he needs money. He's going to end up in the WWE at some point. I'm convinced of that. No matter how much goes back and forth, they will take him because they take guys who they've taken guys who've done. They took Sable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
They took Roddy Piper back. They've taken Hogan back. If you look at what Brock did and compare it to what Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels have done, and not so much Piper, because Piper was kind of fired for telling the truth, but not in the way they would like to have heard it. But Hogan walked out on so many things. He refused to come back one year because they wouldn't let him win the title. He walked out on losing to Bret Hart, lost to Yokozuna instead. This was back in '93. He walked out before doing the Australia show. They had 56,000 people there to see him because he didn't want to take the flight because of his back. And, I'm sure he's got his reasons, but they're not coming back they're not coming back because he couldn't win the title from Lesnar in, I think that was in 2002 or 3. It had been 2003. No, 2002. That was in 2002. Lesnar never did anything like that. Lesnar dropped the title to Eddie Guerrero in a fantastic match. He didn't walk out on WrestleMania like Shawn Michaels did twice. Once walked out and once screwed up and was out of it. So, if you look at what he's actually done, guys have done a lot worse and come back. So, and so I don't have any animosity, but he needs to grow up now. He's 28 years old. And he needs to figure out what he wants to do in life and do it. And if he wants to go back, he can go back. And if he doesn't want to go back, he's going to have to litigate and get out of that deal, which I I wish he hadn't gone to New Japan if that was in January, if that was his intent to get out of the deal because he hurt himself that way. I think that if he had not gone to New Japan and was just sitting there, I think he would have won the case. I'm pretty sure he would have won the case, and he would be free to go at least to Japan, and Japan might be better suited for him because the travel schedule is not as tough. He could work a fewer dates and make not nearly the money, but work fewer dates than WWE would let him do. So, but he's going to have to decide, and he's got to learn that you don't burn bridges and don't say in your mind, I'm never going back, because I have talked to so many people in this business who have told me, big names, who have told me, I'm never going back there. And every one of them, now, there's one, okay, Bruno Sammartino's the only one. Everyone else has gone back after saying.
And there's still time for Bruno.
I don't really. I believe he won't. But he's talked with him about it. I mean, he considered it, but I just don't see it happening. But I mean, the point is that Brock is going to end up there at some point, and he's just got to understand. Steve Austin said he was never going back, and The Rock, The Rock wasn't going back, and Hogan was certainly never going back, and they were never going to take Hogan back, and Shawn was never going to wrestle again, and they would never take Shawn again, and I've heard it over and over. And the point is that they always do because Roddy, we're never going to let Roddy back. So Brock, again, he needs to figure out the reality of the situation and figure out what he wants to do. And I don't think he's figured out exactly what he wants to do, and he hasn't handled it well. So anyway, anything else?
Yeah, I would just like to comment on the TNA thing on Spike and Punk going to the WWE. I think everyone needs to relax about Punk. If you push him too hard in the WWE now, he's going to fall flat on his face. His character is not going to work well. He needs to go to OVW, work his time. I mean, there was a bunch of Ring of Honor fans that just want to see Punk come to the WWE and win the Intercontinental, the U.S.
Well, that ain't going to happen. So, he should be, you know what? I mean, I think that it is so much to his benefit to go to OVW because
not a shot over doubt.
If he goes to OVW and gets over well, he can come in with a push. If he goes in there now, he's going to end up on heat or velocity, and they will make an example out of him just to prove that an indie guy isn't good enough. So it's like you don't want him in that position where, if he's in OVW for 9 months, the WWE has no reason to teach him a lesson because he's their guy at that point. You know what I mean? They still may, but he becomes more of their guy when he's had tenure there. So anyone who's a fan of Punk should be very happy that he is going to OVW and he's not going on to Raw or SmackDown because it's in the long run it's far better for him.
Yeah, if you look at the names that came out of OVW, there's a ton of names that are superstars now in the WWE.
Yeah. Every young one that there is practically came through there.
Exactly. And with the TNA on Saturday night, I mean, I've heard the TNA fans also, and I like TNA. I'm not watching the pay-per-view tonight because I got home too late from work and I wanted to call the Observer first. But they need to start off on a Saturday, and I mean, it's not a good time at 11 o'clock. But if you look at it, if they get exposure and they get the ratings, of course they'll try and move to get a Monday night deal or a Tuesday night deal. But you got to start off small to see how your product works in a national market. I mean, it's not like you can't just go to a prime.
They don't have any leverage.
They don't.
No leverage at all. So it's like they've got to go in there. And you know what? The positive of this is that the expectations from Spike for the ratings in that time slot. If Spike can get an 0.5 in that time slot, which is basically what Velocity did, they will be very happy with this show. If they were to put it Monday in prime time, they're going to want a lot bigger rating. So it's the chance of failure. There's, at 11 o'clock on Saturday night, unless they're going there and doing 0.2, and I don't believe they will, because they were doing better than that on FSN, I don't think they're going to fail. They may not be a huge success, but they won't be a failure. If they go in there Monday in prime time and go head-to-head with WWE and do an 0.5 while WWE is doing a 4.0 on USA, they will be considered a failure, and right now they don't need that. It would be more harm than good. If they can go in there and do a 1.5 on a Monday night, obviously that's best for everyone concerned because then they won't be what WWE is, but they'll be 1.5 on Spike and prime time is a good number.
Oh yeah, they need to take the Saturday time slot, be happy with it, and the fans need to relax and give it time, and they will get the exposure because they're an uprising company.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully they'll do well, and to me, I was looking forward to them going on WGN for 2 hours on Monday because with WGN, again, because it's such a low-rated network, the standards were very low of what they would have needed to be successful. And the one thing about the WGN deal is it gave them 2 hours, and with 2 hours, they would have to produce, a lot of wrestling, sign a lot of wrestlers. And I thought that it would make for a very entertaining night. Even though it would be a killer night for me and Bryan, but I think it would do that. Whereas a 1-hour show, the problem with TNA in a 1-hour show because of the nature of the contracts and having to put guys on TV, they're going to be shoehorning and too much into an hour because that's kind of what they do with their TV now. And I just wanted to give them. 90 minutes is probably perfect, but they're not going to get 90 minutes. But, I would have rather seen a 2-hour show than a 1-hour show for TNA at this stage of the game. So that's why
I think some of the fans are going to be pissed because it's just going to be either match after match after match after match for an hour, or there's going to be an interview segment thrown in there where a match doesn't take place and they don't get to see their star. So, I don't think an hour is enough, too, for them right now.
It's not enough because I watch the shows that they're doing now, which are pretty much the test shows that are on Sun Sports. And my feeling is that they try to put too much in one show, and when they get on that, they're going to be, if anything, forced to put more in. So it's going to be but it's wrestling and it's on and it's more exposure and it'll help their pay-per-views if they hype them well. And they just got to get, they got to figure out a way to get AJ Styles and Daniels and these guys over to the general public, which in 3 years they haven't done. And in the situation they've been in, it'd be almost impossible to do. I mean, WWE hasn't been able to get a lot of people over. So in the same time period, and look at all the... look at they've got 4 hours of prime time, and they've only gotten a few guys over in the last couple of years. Okay?
All right, thank you, guys.
Okay, very welcome. We will be back right after this. Listen to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. Dave Meltzer, editor of the Wrestling Observer News. With Bryan Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly. We've got Sean Waltman and Jerry Lynn in the match. And Jerry Lynn gave Sean Waltman a suplex from into the ring, vertical suplex to the floor, and Waltman took it on his back. And, boy, I don't know. But looks like they're having a good match. I expected a really good match. A couple matches after this. We got a couple of lines available at 1-800-878-PLAY, so you can jump on board, and hopefully we'll be able to get to you before the end of the show. We're going to go to Steve in Windsor, Ontario. Steve, what's going on?
Oh, hey, Dave. What's up?
Not too much.
Okay, I just started getting The Observer last Monday, and it's great.
Oh, thank you very much.
I was trying to actually watch Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from SummerSlam 91 last week, but I couldn't because I was reading the newsletter. So.
What, just on your tape collection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched that match.
I'm trying to watch the SummerSlams leading up, but I would rather read, so.
What, I haven't watched that match in probably 13 years. I'll probably watch it again when the DVD comes out. I mean, I was at that match.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with Stu and Helen Hart, as a matter of fact.
I'll keep a lookout next time I watch.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't see me on the air.
Oh, okay.
I was just in the stands, but yeah, really good match.
Question.
Better on TV than live, although it was pretty darn good live.
Okay. I read on another website that Frankie Kazarian's already gone.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know all the details, but went to a writer and pitched some ideas, and the writer looked at him and just goes. And it sounds like something that, that they would script and just goes, "Oh, you're here for," he didn't even say dark match. "Oh, you're for a lights out match?"
I love that line.
And so I think Frankie, he kind of realized that he must be in their plans when the writers don't even know who he is.
Yeah, it's too bad. He was doing good in his role on Velocity that was never acknowledged on the main shows.
Well, because none of the writers watch Velocity. Obviously. I shouldn't say none, but many of them don't. Yeah, he was doing good, and he's a good wrestler. So I don't know if he'll be back in TNA or, what. I guess I'll try to find out this week if they're interested in taking him back. If I was TNA, I would take him back.
Yeah. Also, you were talking about the funny quotes you used to say about WCW towards the tail end. There's this whole thread on some forum somewhere that's last time I checked was 35 quotes from the Observer.
Oh, God.
Just got me laughing.
Oh, I saw on the Death Valley Driver board, and I was reading it a couple days ago, and I sent it to Bryan, and I'm just going I'm reading this stuff, and I can't even believe I wrote it.
What do you mean?
What?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's just because that whole period's like a blur because we were working so crazy that whole time that I don't remember. I mean, I remember that it was hideous and it was stupid and all I would do is write jokes. But I'm reading it again, and I mean, I don't remember writing a lot of that stuff, and I'm reading it and going God, it was really you know, it was really, like, worse than I remember. So.
Yeah. Either of you heard of that, it's the book by the Get in the Ring radio guys?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it.
I read it. It's actually really good.
Oh, good. Good.
So I just want to mention that.
Tell you what, there's a book coming out on Stampede Wrestling. I don't know when it'll be out. It'll be not for several months. This book, everyone must read this book. Bryan, you might. I don't know if I've emailed you about this or not. You must read this book. I got it on Thursday, and I couldn't put it down. I mean, it was just the most so well written book. But anyway, whenever it's out, you know, I'll let everyone know. But this is a must read book. I mean, and I knew most of the stories, but I mean, just the depth that it went into on some of the personalities there, just tremendous. But,
all right, well, that's about it. Thanks very much, and I look forward to getting this week.
So, no, real quick though, on the Adam Kleinberg book. So you liked it though?
Yeah, it was good. It was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't anything in there that I really didn't already know, but it was a funny read with interviews from various people.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff about Mang Haku being the toughest guy was particularly funny stuff.
Oh, yeah. With the descriptions of, like, him biting people's noses off and stuff?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks a bunch, Steve. Okay, we're going to go to Jeremy in Springfield, Missouri. Jeremy, what's going on?
Hey, guys, what's up?
Not too much.
Hey, you forgot to mention WCW never said who drove the white Hummer.
Oh, you mean who drove the Hummer?
Yeah, they never said.
What? It was supposed to be Carmen Electra. They never did reveal it as Carmen Electra, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was the original plan, that was going to be Carmen Electra.
Dude, that's really weak.
Yeah, well, a lot of their writing was really weak in that era.
All right, hey, Jim Ross and Benoit were the only guys who didn't say anything bad about Brett on the DVD. I'm assuming Michael said some good things with the bad.
I don't know if Michael said anything good.
Really?
I don't know, though. I mean, the way it was explained to me, Michaels had nothing good to say.
So I'm assuming Hogan went out and just buried Brett because that's how Hogan is.
I'm sure that I can't imagine him doing nothing but bury him, but he certainly said things that were, to me, I mean, just the irony. I mean, it's like there are people who could say that, and I would disagree with it, but Hogan can't even say it. You know, it's like Hogan can't even say that. What Hogan said, you know, and I mean, no one will ever see it, but what he said just, there's just like, there's no way that he can say that, you know, like, you know, that Bret Hart was unprofessional, or that, you know, Bret Hart wasn't a team player. I mean, look at, you know, I mean, and I'm not totally knocking Hogan for everything that he did, because if I was in Hogan's shoes, I would be out there protecting myself, because you got to protect yourself. But Hogan took it to the extreme, and Hogan did some things that there's no justification for. I mean, there's certain times that he said no. That, you know, I mean, you know, there's times you can say no because you have to. Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. But Hogan did it to the extreme.
The best thing about Hogan was he blamed Brett and Goldberg for WCW dying, even though he never ever put over any, you know, young guys when he could have back in '98.
Well, he'll tell you that he put over Billy Kidman, but that was a joke, and you know, they wouldn't let anyone, you know, but that was the problem of you know, too much power to the wrestlers that were they had lazy wrestlers on top who didn't want new guys on top that would work really hard. I mean, like, it was okay for Flair to work really hard because Flair worked really hard in the sense of bumping for the other guy who could stand there. You know what I mean? Flair didn't force them to work hard to keep up, whereas some of the other guys would, and Benoit being the prime example, would have forced those guys to have to work harder to keep up, and they just didn't want a guy like that in the main event mix, so they made sure he wasn't, and, you know, they buried their future. And, you know, Brett was a different deal. I think there was just a lot of, jealousy. Hogan, you know, there was, you know, you got to remember when Brett first came in, because of what happened in Montreal, Brett was the hottest commodity in wrestling, and I think that Hogan wanted to make sure that it didn't stay that way. And I think that Hall and Nash wanted to make sure that didn't stay that way. And, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, like Brett, you know, there wasn't some Brett as well, but you know, they made sure. But I mean, I do remember Bret Hart first coming in, and, you know, he would be pulled off TV as soon as he got hot. I know that there were angles that were, I mean, there was one angle, okay, and it was my angle, but Mark Madden pitched it to Eric Bischoff. and Bret Hart knew about it, and a lot of people knew about it, and everyone loved the angle. And Bischoff at first loved the angle, and then, he talked to someone, and I can't tell you who it was for sure because I don't know, but all of a sudden, he didn't want to do the angle. And, the result of the angle was that not just Bret Hart, but there were 3 or 4 other people that would have gotten, super over. And but they weren't, I think that the people who were already in the top spots didn't want new people getting over.
All right, the Hogan-Michael match at SummerSlam, I personally kind of think Austin's going to give Hogan a stunner and give him the win for everything Hogan said about Austin being over due to cheap heat and with this thing out and be over for 4 more years.
Hogan-Austin is a real interesting political one. That one, I don't envy Vince. I don't envy Vince putting that one together because you really do in that one. Like with Shawn, there's no in Shawn Michaels' mind. Okay, there's no situation with Hogan because there's no question in anyone's mind that Shawn Michaels is a tons better wrestler than Hogan, and there's no question in anyone's mind that Hogan is a tons bigger star than Shawn Michaels. So there's no real ego there because at what both are good at, they are better than the other. Hogan and Austin, and then Shawn, I think, knows that his role is to put Hogan over to get him ready for Austin, I think. We'll find out if it doesn't happen. But with Austin, you're talking about a real interesting dynamic because they both really think that they were the biggest star in history, and whoever loses, there's actually something tangible in both of their minds to lose that match and to sell and to who the crowd goes for.
So who made more money than Austin?
Well, Austin made them tons more money than Hogan, but Hogan made them more money for more years than Austin. But Austin made them more money in 1 year than Hogan did in the whole 9 years he was on top.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of sadly pathetic in a way?
Sadly pathetic, but they're using it. They're both going to use it to get the match over. So in that sense, it's business. But I think that there will be the day of the show. I expect that maybe they'll be professional and Hogan will just go, hey, you're the younger guy, stun me, it's fine.
I think it'll happen.
That, but I don't think that happens.
Austin to show up at SummerSlam.
What?
Fully expect that.
You fully expect what?
I fully expect Austin to show up at SummerSlam just for some weird reason.
It'd be good. I don't know what his movie schedule is when he's filming or anything. If he's not filming, there's no reason not to. I don't know what he's doing. You know what I mean?
They could build up this thing from SummerSlam up to WrestleMania in Chicago.
Yeah, it would be good. It would be good if Austin caused Hogan. Nah, I don't see Hogan losing though. If Austin caused Hogan to lose, but then Hogan would want his win back real bad then, over Austin, and I don't know about Austin putting Hogan over. I could see,
political brother.
What?
You'd have Hogan in the back trying to be the politician brother.
I tell you what, that's going to be, that's an interesting one. I thought about that one, just how they work the match and things like that, because Austin's a ring general, and he's not going to voluntarily let Hogan swerve him like Hogan swerved The Rock.
Hey, is there any chance of WWE, they already brought back the Great American Bash, is there any chance we'll bring back Super Brawl or bring back Starrcade?
Nah, because I'm amazed he even brought the Great American Bash back because Vince hates using WCW ideas. They haven't even used War Games yet, and Hunter wants to do it, and they turned it down. So
why is Monty Brown being jobbed out all the time on TNA when he should be their champion with a legitimate press? From the Super Bowl and everything. Why are they jobbing him out?
Who?
Monty Brown.
Well, he beat Kip James did the job tonight. They have high plans for nothing really. Come October, believe me, Monty Brown is way in their plans. Way in their plans.
Because you lost to Jarrett, in January or February, and it just killed the crowd. It's like, dude, Jarrett.
I know what you're saying, and I was really against that at the time, but. Like I said, trust me. They have big plans for Monty Brown.
I hope so.
They're just in October. They'll start in that direction. We got to get running, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, you listen to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Okay, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. We only got about a minute left. We're going to go to Robert. Robert, make it quick. What's going on?
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Doing great.
I want to make this real fast. My father-in-law just called me, and he wanted to ask you real quick about Bruno. You guys anything know about Bruno?
What about Bruno?
Is he doing okay? Is he?
As far as I know, Bruno's doing great. He's, he had back surgery, but I would presume he's probably back training, and like more fit than almost any 70-year-old you'll probably find anywhere.
Okay, and the Freebirds, I got to give the kudos to the Hall of Fame for that because I heard that last week. I tried to get in through. And Marty Jannetty, what's up with Marty Jannetty?
Marty Jannetty got fired because he got arrested while he was under contract, and I think that they realized he had this great match with Kurt Angle, and so they signed him right away because he really was good. And then I think that right afterwards they probably realized, hey, wait a minute, we have no idea what we can do with this guy. And then he got arrested, so they figured that, well, we better get rid of him. So he got fired.
And the Edge Matt Hardy match, do you think that's going to turn out to be like some kind of like a real match?
Nah, I mean, it's going to turn out. They'll probably be a little stiffer than usual, but I think that they'll try to make it look a little bit more legit. I know Matt Hardy, who actually while he was off was practicing, was learning submissions, which actually isn't, I don't think, what he should be doing in this match. But I think that the idea will be to work it more legit. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully, Matt needs to have a great match there. And it's funny because he's got to rely on the guy who he hates to not shut the match down. Because Edge has got his spot guaranteed. Edge is going to do great either way. But if Matt doesn't have a good match, Matt goes back to mid-card. So it's a really weird irony that he needs Edge to make his career for him after everything's gone down.
And gentlemen, I'm 38 years old and I love wrestling just as much as you do.
Well, good job.
Hey, take care.
Okay, you're very welcome. We are totally out of time, Bryan. Thank you very much. Bryan, what do you think? Hogan and Austin. Who should win?
Who should win?
Who should win?
Oh, God. I have no prediction.
Well, it's not a prediction. It's who should win. If you're the booker, it's one off. No one's coming back for the next pay-per-view. Historical thing. Who do you put over?
Austin.
Okay.
But they're going to do Hogan.
Well, we'll find out at WrestleMania if it gets there. Okay, anyway, we'll be back. We got a tape show next week because of the SummerSlam, and then the Pride the week after, and we'll be back with J.J. Dillon in a couple more weeks. This is Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.